What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some SPACs with or without targets that I see a lot of upside potential with if we can get in at, the right time. I do see a lot of upcoming catalysts and potential with these specific SPACs. So hopefully it brings you guys some value. And before we get into it, I just want to say congratulations to everyone who got in on the Palantir and Apple call options. I called these out in the Patreon a while back, and a lot of people in the Discord and Patreon saw a nice gain with these call options. Now, the Palantir event is coming up tomorrow, so most of us locked in profits already. I left one runner just to see how things go. I'll likely sell before the event. But Palantir, the whole market dipped around 8 o'clock today, 8:10 or 11 Eastern time, and slowly recovered back. So it's pretty nice to see Palantir sitting at 36.46 going into tomorrow's event. So definitely going to be watching how that plays out. Now, let's get into it. First up, we have BFT, and this is PaySafe, and I've been talking about this one on the channel for quite some time now. This one, in my opinion, will continue to head higher as the merger approaches and more news comes out. Even CNBC just said they think this one could triple, which is why we saw BFT recently head to all-time highs. And since then, it did pull back a little bit, which is very common. Now, today it went under $17, which I think is a good place to add more, even at $17.50 or less. I see upside from this price. And, BFT, PaySafe, is a multinational online payment system. They're highly dominant in the gambling industry, and this is a fintech SPAC. So all those things draw people's attention to it, which is why I do see upside potential here. They have a large global presence. They're profitable. They're well positioned for fast growth. And this is a fully SPAC, and people believe in him as well. The only thing I'd be careful of is around merger time with the PIPE investors. Especially if you're going to play call options, I would scale out as things head higher. And this is going to be Q1 merger if everything goes right. So I would play your call options further out than Q1 just to be safe. But I do like this one around $17.50 or less. I would add some more, and we're going to see how this one plays out. Up next, we have APXT, and this is AvePoint. So we saw this one recently touch $17.55 and really start to head higher. But since then, it's come all the way back down to $15.50. It even dipped under that today, which I think is a very attractive place to buy this. And I don't personally have call options. I have shares and warrants. I still think the warrants are a good deal right now. It's kind of like if you can pick up 100 of those, it's like playing a far out call option. And I just think this one's a sleeper right now, and it'll wake up with more news. Now, AvePoint is valued at $2 billion. They're a profitable company, and they're growing at 30%. So I do see potential hype here. This is a good business, and they have ties to Microsoft. So hopefully pretty soon here, closer to the merger, they get some more media coverage, and that helps AvePoint out. Microsoft also reports earnings coming up here, so this could positively correlate to APXT. I'm definitely going to be watching this one. I added more warrants today, and if we see a dip under 15, then I will likely load up more shares. All right, now we're talking Chamath SPACs, and these ones are going to be a bit more speculative, and some may not agree with this, but Chamath, whatever he touches turns to gold lately, and I'm willing to bet on his track record. IPOF and iPod don't have targets yet, and that might concern some people because they are trading well above NAV. However, I think these are going to be amazing targets. The guy is just killing it lately, and I would say for IPOF, this is the biggest SPAC Chamath is going to do as of to date. I would say anything under 15 is a good buy. Preferably under 1450, like this dip today was really nice and then it recovered. Under 1450, I would definitely be buying. I have IPOF, iPod, and IPOE. I'm all for Chamath. Then iPod is his other one, and this one dipped today to 16, and we saw it dip under 16. I think under 16 is definitely a buy. This one recently touched, I believe it was 18. If you look at the 52-week high, we did touch 18.14 is the 52-week high. So you got to know that upon an announcement, a target announcement, I believe these will head higher. I don't think Chamath is going to find a bad target. He cares about his SPACs and his track record. So I'm willing to bet on him. And we look over here, it says, should you buy IPOF stock before the merger? Target announcement. It is speculative, but Palihapitiya's track record in SPACs as well as PIPE would be worth betting on in his expertise in finding a strong merger target and buy IPOF stock before the merger. So IPOF is the $1 billion SPAC, and then iPod's the $400 million SPAC according to Spac Track. So you can expect these to be some pretty solid targets, and I'm willing to bet on them. Let me know what you guys think about these. All right, and then we have IPOE, which is a Chamath SPAC. This is merging with SoFi, and I'm very bullish on this one. This is probably my favorite SPAC to date. I'm going to hold this one long term, and I really like this one. This is a Q1 merger. This is a one-stop shop for all finances, so loans, investing, banking, credit cards, credit score, paying bills, paying friends. They currently have 1.7 million customers. They're on track for 3 million customers by 2021. They take up 90% of new neobank accounts opening in the US. Compound annual growth rate is estimated to be 43% from 2020 to 2025. I love the business model. I think they have a great ecosystem and can retain customers very easily. So I'm liking this one, any pullback we get. Today it dipped. The lowest it got was 2009, currently sitting at 2076. I am highly considering picking up some leaps for this one for the long term. And, anything under 2050, in my opinion, is attractive at this point. I think this will head higher, and it's not going to stay in these low 20s for long. I'm not sure when that will be. Obviously, as the merger is supposed to happen in Q1, I'm sure we're going to get more of a pump and more coverage on this. So any chance I get, I'm adding more while I can. Next up, we have PSTH, and this is Ackman's unicorn SPAC that is coming very soon. It is trading well above NAV at this point, but I truly think the announcement is coming, and I've been very patient with this one. I have an average cost in the low 20s, but I am still adding shares. And, they've been collecting dust for months now, but I've just stayed patient, and we know this is going to be big. This is probably the most anticipated SPAC to date, just because of how long we've had to wait. And I do think we're in the home stretch for a letter of intent and definitive agreement. Ackman did state in November in the conference call that PSTH was on track for a Q1 target. And, now that all, the election news, the runoff elections, inauguration, all that stuff is behind us now, maybe, Ackman feels comfortable announcing now that all that news and media stuff is out of the way. So definitely watching this one very closely. So looking at this article from Investor Place, and this is by Will Ashworth, who's an Investor Place contributor, it says maybe the PSTH stock is getting a bit frothy, but he says he doesn't believe this to be the case. And then looking over here, I highlighted some stuff. So PSTH does trade around 145% of its NAV, which is net asset value. Given the potential combination, Ackman defended the premium, basically saying it trades at a premium because the investors believe that he's going to find an amazing target. And, he does care about his investors. He's even attached warrants with the shares if you hold them. So he's trying to, combat the potential sell-off that happens with SPACs. So I'm excited for this one. And so Will Ashworth says he couldn't agree more, which is why I've argued that 29 isn't too high of a price to pay for this stock, even though the target is still, unidentified. And 6 months later, he's saying that just means we're closer to a target announcement. Now, I personally see this being $40 plus upon an announcement. Now, this is a 100% guess. Do not take that as factual. But I just see Ackman announcing something very big here and us taking off even higher. Definitely, we're going to have to wait and see. I'm being patient with this one. I'm betting on Bill, though. So then we have another pretty big SPAC here, BTWN. This is a Peter Thiel-backed SPAC, Bridgetown. And, we've seen them shoot up before. They were touching 18 upon the Tokopedia rumor. Not sure what's going on with that rumor. If Tokopedia will just IPO on their own or go through this SPAC. If they do go through this SPAC, I expect this thing to be very big because, that is a $10 billion deal. And, a lot of people don't think it's going to be Tokopedia, which is totally fine. But I did notice that they launched their second SPAC. So this is BTBN. This is their second SPAC, and this is going to be a $200 million deal, also backed by Thiel and Richard Lee. Have once again teamed up to launch a second blank check company that is now seeking to raise $200 million in an initial public offering. Bridgetown 2 is a special purpose acquisition company formed by Thiel's Capital and Lee's Pacific Century, targets new economy, technology, financial services, and media companies in Southeast Asia. So very interesting that they're already launching a second one without an announcement on BTWN. Now, I actually do think this one is attractive right where it's sitting. This morning, It did almost dip under 14, unless it did and it's just not shown on this chart. I think under 14 is a huge buy. Even where it's at right now is a pretty good buy. I expect some sort of announcement pretty soon here with the fact that they're launching another one. But, that's pure speculation. I'm definitely just watching this one for now and, setting some price targets where I would enter. But yeah, we'll see where this one goes. Pretty bullish on it. I love Peter Thiel. Think he's a great investor. So we'll see what kind of target he picks up. Last up, we have VGAC. Now, I don't have a position in this one anymore. I did swing the warrants on the recent pop, but basically it did head higher due to the Virgin Orbit rumors and also ARKX starting in a space exploration ETF and people thinking that this would, have a clear spot in that ETF. People are also bullish on Branson and his track record with Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. And this is all speculation right now, but this article does make it seem like this is a huge possibility, and investors are really hopeful that this SPAC does pick up Virgin Orbit. So a bit more on this. Virgin Orbit provides launch services for small satellites, and 8 months after a botched test flight, Virgin Orbit successfully launched 10 tiny satellites into orbit by firing a rocket from a converted jumbo jet to achieve that feat. Virgin Orbit is already apparently well above their competitors, says Andy Pazder from the Wall Street Journal. And earlier this morning when this article came out, Branson told CNBC that he was considering taking Virgin Orbit public through a SPAC. He didn't identify, which SPAC he was going to do it through, so VGAC could be the one. It makes the most sense right now, and that's why the SPAC did head higher. Like I said, I did swing the warrants, but, under $14, I would consider getting back in. This is very speculative at the moment, though, but I do anticipate that whatever Branson does pick will likely hype up, so I'm definitely just watching it for now. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just looking over these SPACs, I do see a lot of upside potential here. Although they have all shot up quite a bit, I'm going to be picky with my entries and be patient for when I, get in. I'm not in every single one of these plays, but, I do see a lot of upside potential here, even on the more speculative ones. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you're getting into. And if you guys want to know, when I'm buying something, feel free to sign up for the Patreon. I tell all my buy alerts in there, and I post a ton of different plays and what I'm looking at in the market. So that's pretty much it. Please like and subscribe, and have a good one.